So, transient student is where you're able to take a class and a class at two different institutions. Easy example. If you enrolled in 6 credit hours at your home school, right? Let's say you're at a 2-year at your home school. You can enroll another 6 credit hours at your university if you wanted to. So you could be taking classes at 2 schools at the same time and still be full time. Yes, you can. And remember, if you want to know more about it, just check in with Registrar. Check in with a specialist in that institution. They know way more about it. I do know for a fact, just off of simple knowing, you can't do it your first year, sadly. Like if you're a freshman, you can't do it your first year because you just got to that school you're at. You have to build a GPA up, which leads us into our first one. You have to have a good GPA in order to do this. If you don't have a good GPA, they're not gonna let you do it. It's common sense, right? If you fail in here, what make you think you're gonna pass over there? So step 2, see if the other college is accepted at your home school. So when you go and be a transient student at that school you wanna go to, make sure that credit, when you're done there, make sure that credit can transfer back. Because I did this a lot of times when I was in college at my 2-year. There were times where a class wasn't offered at the time. So instead of me sitting out, I was able to enroll in at another institution and transfer that class back over. But I made sure it can transfer back and it was acceptable. I had to make sure. So yes, when I made sure that the credit was acceptable, you also want to do your research and make sure that if this is in your major, do your common research like we talk about. Just make sure it's lining up. It's that same class that or not the same class. Make sure it's the same or related because it can be named something else, but it still be the same class. Which leads us into our next one. Get permission from Registrar. Get permission from Registrar. You got to get permission from Registrar because that's what you're going to be dealing with the most. They're going to actually put your transcript together and send it off to that advisor or that another registrar at that other institution. So you're going to work a lot with Registrar in this. You see how we're taking ownership? You're like a mini business person already in college. You already like, hey, you need to make sure you're doing this. You need to make sure you're doing this. Which leads us to 4. Make sure you follow up with your registrar or your academic advisor at these institutions. You got to follow up with them. Academic advisor, registrar, both play a critical part in this. You have to make sure this gets done before you start your semester. It's good to do this all in advance before the semester even gets done. So if you're in the fall semester, you want to go ahead and get this knocked out before spring semester starts. Okay? Once again, you want to get this all knocked out in the fall semester, and then before the spring semester starts, you'll have it done before spring starts. This is highly underrated. This saved me time and money because when I was at my 2-year, I would just go take another class at another 2-year. And then if I was at my 4-year, and if it's a class that I know that was 1,000 level or 2,000 level, and I'm taking that at a 4-year, or I was about to take it at a 4-year, I would take it at a 2-year. For cheaper price. It helped me. It saved me time and money. That's how we got debt free. Strategically did this. This is things they don't want you to know. This is at every institution across the United States.